Hello, come in the room, my cosmic family, because today we are going to talk about some internalized racism, some intragroup bias, and respectability politics. So, come on in the room, take a seat, grab your wine, grab whatever you need because we're going to have a real conversation. So, family, have you ever noticed that sometimes we can be harder on our own people than anyone else? Maybe it's the way somebody talks, the way somebody dresses, or their mannerisms. But even before we realize it, we're passing judgment. Today, we're going to dive deep into the psychology behind it, what it's called, where it comes from, and most importantly, how we can break free from it. So, welcome back to Leelee's delivery service where magic meets purpose and every delivery is divine. And always remember, love is the ritual. So, in social work and in therapy, we learned that words mean things and that the language that we use surrounding a lot of different, whether it's mental illnesses, human behaviors, they mean something and they hold a lot of weight. So, let's define what we're talking about. We're beginning on internalized racism, which is when members of a marginalized group, racial group, absorb society's negative stereotypes about themselves. And it's pretty much like carrying an invisible bag of someone else's opinions. And believe me, baby, they are heavy. Intergroup bias is when we hold prejudice against members of our own racial group. And respectability politics, that's when we believe that we must act, talk, or dress according to the dominant culture standards to earn respect or safety. So what the heck does any of that even mean? So, to break it down, there's exposure, internalization, hypervigilance, and then lastly, criticism. It starts with the exposure to the negative stereotypes. As kids, we hear certain things about what it means to be black, whether it's from media, from our school, from books, or even our family and friends. Over time, these ideas sneak into our subconscious. We start measuring ourselves and others against their standards. Then it comes hypervigilance, the belief that one person's actions reflect on the whole group. So you know exactly what that means. That means either your your uncle, your mama, or somebody seeing somebody going to Walmart in pajamas and a bonnet. What's the first thing they say? Well, they shouldn't have came out the house looking like that. I'll tell you another thing. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and when we went to our first Central Regional Conference, most of us is from Louisville, and we had to drive. I think it was to Indianapolis. It was somewhere that wasn't here, and we call them we call them the old heads, but the ladies who are older than us that is also a part of our sorority was basically giving us dirty looks. And believe me, they came up to us and they was like, "Did y'all just come here?" We was like, "Yeah, we just got off the bus. We just landed or whatever." And they was like, "Okay, well, tell me something." And of course, us, we were offended at first because here we are, we're young, we're new to the organization. We don't know why they're coming at us so hard. But then you had to think about it, and we all talked about it amongst ourselves. They came from a generation where they didn't have the privilege to walk out and go to Walmart in pajamas or a bonnet. Like, we had to look sharp or we faced real consequences. That's one example, right? Of just people assuming that we have to look, act, and behave our best in order for the rest of the world to deem us as safe. And that puts us in a very hard box, right? It puts us in a corner and it makes us hyper vigilant about not only the way we act, but the way others act, even when we're in our safe spaces. And that's not okay. So, I'm looking at my notes, sorry, y'all. But so if one of us messes up, we feel embarrassed or defensive. And the judgment comes out sideways, aimed at each other instead of at the system that created the stereotype in the first damn place. So, I've already told you one real life example, but to give you a little bit of a clue, have you ever been out in public, whether it's with a group of black people or a group of whatever, and someone's being extra loud, and you're like, why are they talking like that in front of them? Or they're having conversations that you would deem closed door type of conversation, and you're a little embarrassed because you think they're making us look bad, or they're making you look bad, or the classic, that's not professional. See, even when it came down to our hair, they literally tried to police our hair in the workplace because it wasn't quote unquote professional. Well, I'm sorry. Our black hair is not going to grow like white people's slick, straight, managed, not even managed because our hair is manageable. But we're different. So we're going to dress different. We're going to walk different. We're going to talk different. And this channel is about celebrating those differences instead of excluding them. So basically, I want you to pause for a second. If any of this resonates with you, drop in the comments if you've ever been on the given or the receiving end of this type of criticism. There's no shame. This is all about awareness. It's not about blame. So believe me, I still got your back and I still love you no matter what. But more importantly, we need to talk about why it's harmful. Why is this cycle harmful to us? Because it erodes trust within our own community. How many times do we have these conversations about Africans versus African Americans, or dark skin versus light skin, man versus woman? Like, it creates distance. And that's what keeps us obviously divided, but it's eroding the trust in our community. It also reinforces the idea that we must perform to be accepted. We are not zoo animals, y'all. We do not have to perform to be accepted. You just breathing, alive, listening to this right now is your acceptance. And it keeps us playing by the rules that we didn't create. We never created these rules. So why are we trying to fit into the box of the rules that they created, that they always change anyway and move the goalposts for? When we judge each other more harshly than we judge those outside of our community, we become the enforcers of someone else's standards, even if we don't mean to. So, that is why we're here. We're here to heal and to break the cycle. So, here are 5 ways to heal from internalized racism and intergroup bias. Sorry, y'all. There's consciousness raising. Learn the history of systemic racism and how it shapes perceptions. 2, self-compassion. Oh my God, this is a big one. Please remind yourself that one person's misstep does not define you. Somebody stealing or doing something that they ain't supposed to do ain't got nothing to do with you. Looking at the news, the rage baiters, even if those things are true, that's not you. You are an individual, but we are an individual within a community. So there are a lot more conversations that we need to have. But I'm bringing this up because I know I'm not the only person that thinks of these things. And luckily for me, I have some of the educational skills to put it together in a way that is translatable. That way you can use some of these tools and these languages to talk amongst your friends and your family as well. Number 3, collective compassion. Offer grace to others in your community. Remember, we can be anything in the world, so why not be kind? Number 4, cultural affirmations. Celebrate the full range of Black expression, not just the ones that are deemed appropriate in white spaces. Number 5, deconditioning the white gaze. Ooh, that's a big one. I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, what does that mean? Let me tell you. Ask yourself, am I judging based on my values or theirs? Serious question. Are you judging based on your values and morals that you set up for yourself and your community and your family? Or are you basing it off of the white gaze and what they consider appropriate? So, for my audience, which one of these 5 tools do you want to start practicing today? Let's talk about it in the comments. Share, and I would love to respond back. That way we can have a real conversation. So, in closing, I want to leave you with a story. Something that actually just happened recently, really. So, even me, I have a lot of learning to do. I have a lot of unconditioning to do because me and my boyfriend was just sitting outside literally yesterday, just talking, having a conversation. And if you're from Louisville, Kentucky, I'll give you a little background. I live in J-Town, and I just moved over here back in February, but I didn't have any male people over here, so I'm so used to being by myself. So me and my boyfriend was outside having a conversation, and I don't even remember what we were talking about. I know we always talk about Black liberation and, of course, our people, how we need to elevate. And for some reason out there, I got scared and embarrassed, like somebody was looking at us or listening to us. And he had to like teach me, like, you have nothing to be afraid of. That's just that conditioning that, oh, well, you're subconsciously trying to shrink or to, be quiet because I didn't want to upset my neighbors. When, in all honesty, I've not done anything to ever upset my neighbors. My neighbors actually love me. So why do I even have that thought in my head, right? Because I still got a lot of conditioning to do. I'm still used to lowering my voice. I'm used to shrinking, being put in a corner, not making myself visible because I'm afraid of someone coming up and asking me, "Are you lost? Are you supposed to be here?" And I just don't want to engage in it because I'm afraid of what I'm going to do. However, that does not mean I don't have a voice. That doesn't mean that I don't have things that I want to say and I need to share with people. And same with him. He has every right to be as loud as he wants to. I have every right to be as loud as I want to. Why are we, putting those restrictions on us? So I'll ask you the same thing. If you ever find yourself quieting yourself in public or in spaces where you don't feel comfortable with, ask yourself why. Why are you shrinking yourself? And is it benefiting you? Is it benefiting anyone? And even down to what we wear to work, how we talk at work, how we wear our hair at work. Like, it's like we're so used to being picked apart by a society that never wanted to accept us in the first place. So why are we surprised that they make fun of our lips or our hair or our swag? Because they don't have any of it. So let's recenter and realize that we are the prize. We are the gift. We are on this earth to make everything better. I mean, argue with me in the comments if you disagree, but I mean, black people are the shit. I don't know what else to tell you. So basically, I'm learning to switch lenses. I want to see people for who they are, not for the way they present themselves or the way they represent, just who they are at their core. So in the outro, because we're gonna wrap this up, I tell you I don't want to be here very long. I know y'all got lives and things to take care of. But family, we need to remember we are allowed to be whole, authentic, and imperfect without each other's judgment. Love is the ritual. And in episode 4, we're going to dive into boundaries, self esteem, how they shape every part of our lives. But until next time, please protect your energy, and I'll see you in the skies. And also, look some of this stuff up by yourself. I'm not the expert, I just got some tools to help guide you and navigate this crazy world we live in. So until next time, I love y'all, and I will see you later. This is Leelee's Delivery Service, and I am out. Bye.